So have you ever wondered what type of camera you need to work as a professional photographer? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you an honest answer and I'm going to show you some evidence to back up my claims. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, my name is Dan Quintero and I make videos about anything related to photography. So the reason that I'm making this video is that this is a question that I've been asked for years. And just to clarify, I'm not talking about what brand of camera you need. What I'm referring to is, should you invest in a professional camera, or can you just use a consumer level camera or whatever you've already got access to if you want to work as a professional photographer? And like I said in the intro, it's a question that comes up all the time. But a few months ago, I made a series of videos about how to start a headshot photography business. And since those videos came out, I'm now getting bombarded with comments about how you need a professional camera before you can start working as a professional photographer. So today we're going to do a little experiment. So a few weeks back, I was doing a headshot photography session with a client of mine that just happened to be interested in photography. In fact, she's studying photography and production and is interested in becoming a photographer herself. And just like clockwork, the comment came out saying, I've got a DSLR, but I'm saving up for a professional camera before I start doing paid work. So we start chatting about this, and I'm trying to explain to her that she can actually start working with whatever camera she already has. And as I'm explaining this, I can tell that she's not really believing what I'm saying. So at that point, I ran into my office and I looked for the cheapest, most consumer, oldest camera that I have, and I found this. So this is, let's see if I can focus that for you. This is a Canon 450D. I think in the US this was called a Digital Rebel XTI, and this was released in 2008. And it has 12.2 megapixels. And I just went onto Amazon and had a look, and you can pick this up with a lens for about $100. Now, the camera that I normally use for my work is this. This is the Canon 1DX Mark II. If you're not familiar with this camera, this is the top of the line DSLR camera that Canon make. This, together with this lens, costs a small fortune. And I thought it'd be really interesting to test what the different images look like when you shoot it with one of these compared to what you shoot with one of these. Now, I'm not suggesting for a second that the files that come out of these cameras are going to look the same. The point that I'm trying to make is that the files that come out of this cheaper camera can be good enough to do client work. So we're going to do some headshot photography using both cameras, and we're going to take a look at them. Now, I'm going to show you both edited images. I say that because we only provide edited images to our clients and not the raw files. You should never give away your raw files. But later in the video, I am going to show you the raw files as well so that you can see what you're working with. Let's jump into Lightroom now and take a look at the images. Okay, so here we are inside of Lightroom, and I've got two images here, and I've got a few different versions down the bottom that I want to show you. But essentially, I just wanted to show you these two images because one of these images was shot with a 1DX Mark II with an 70-200 f2.8 L series lens. I mean, top-notch equipment, as good as it gets. And then the other one was shot with a EOS 450D with the 18-55 kit lens. Now, this camera and lens is really old. The camera only has 12.2 megapixels, so it's got limited resolution. But something that you need to keep in mind is that our clients do not pixel peep. They look at the photograph maybe about the size that we've got it on the screen right now, possibly even smaller, because most of the time they're using things like headshot photographs for profile images. Okay, so they're not going to be displayed even this large typically. Now, I'll challenge any of you to tell me which photograph is which. Okay, at this size. Okay, when we zoom in, it's going to be very obvious which camera is which. But let me zoom in fact. But I think at this level, a lot of people would struggle to understand or to guess which. Not guess, but tell which camera is which photograph here. So let me zoom in first of all on this one here, okay? And then let me zoom in on this one here. And hopefully this comes across in the video, but the image on the left has got so much more resolution, so much sharper, and it's just so much, there's so much more definition in that image that most of you will be able to guess that the image on the left is the one taken by the 1DX with a 70-200. But until we did that, and again, our clients are not going to do this. So understand that we're really picking here, right? We've been very, very picky. But at this level, yes, we can tell, but no one's going to do this. So most people are going to be looking at the photographs like this, okay? And at this level, you can't tell. So this is really something that you need to keep in the back of your head. So these are the final images, and I'm showing you these because this is what we would actually hand over to our client. We don't give raw images, we give final images. So what can you produce with that camera? And this is the type of image that you can create with a 450D. All right, so let me now show you, because I did say that I was going to show you the raw images. So let me go back into single view mode. So the 1DX, in fact, let's start off with the 450D. This was the raw image. And yeah, as you can tell, you know, it needs a little bit of work in order to get it to the level or to something that we can, you know, get a little bit closer to what the 1DX can produce just off the bat. So there are a few extra steps, and I'll go through them in a second. But you know what? It's totally worth it. So let's have a look at this. So this is the raw image. The first thing that I do on this is I try to reduce some of the noise. Now, not that this image is noisy, because I don't think it's really that noisy, but the new denoise tool in Lightroom creates an incredible effect on the skin. So that's the first thing that I do. So I'm talking about the noise, where is it? The denoise tool just over here. Okay, I run that and it blends everything nice. It almost does that like a sort of a skin smoothing, okay? But it does it not just to on the face, it does it to the whole image. And what you end up with is something that looks like this. It's a little darker, I know, but I hope you can actually see. Let me actually bring that up a little bit so that I can make it a little bit more comparable to the first image. Hopefully you can see that. So it went from that to that. Okay, now there is a little bit of smoothing, and it probably doesn't come across in a video, but trust me, there is. And it just prepares the file so that you're starting with a superior file. Now you could also do the enhance and introduce more megapixels by doing the what do you call it, let me have a look here, the enhance, and you go to the super resolution. But what I found is that you can only use the super resolution, or you can only, or the denoise, but you can't do both of them. Even if you do one and then go back and try to do the other, it doesn't work. If you've worked out a way to do that, then please let me know in the comments section. But at this point, I am not able to do that, and I think it's just by design. But like I said, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. So if you know how to do that, please let me know in the comment section. So anyway, once I prepared the file this way, then I take it into Photoshop. And then I am able to then do my final edits, which this is the end result. I do some skin smoothing and just the general retouching that I'm not going to go through in this video, because it would take too long, and that's a separate video. If you guys are interested, let me know. But what you end up with is this really nice image. And again, when you're not comparing it to something that's much sharper, when you look at this image, this is a really nice image. There's enough sharpness. I mean, I can add a little more sharpness if I wanted to anyway, right? So let's just do that a little bit. There's just a little bit more sharpness. And I'm not sure whether this comes across in the video or not, but you can see that that looks really, really nice. So yeah, I just wanted to show you what you can achieve with a really, really cheap camera, and to sort of prove to you that it doesn't really matter the equipment that you have. The tools have become so good now with Lightroom and Photoshop and Capture One. They're just incredibly powerful. So you can take images from a really old camera, and it will let you really improve them at a level that we haven't been able to for, you know, only until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. The tools have really advanced so much in the last couple of years. And I think that the results are that, well, I mean, you're seeing the results right here. This was taken on a 12.2 megapixel camera with a kit lens that I bought secondhand 10 years ago. And I'm producing work like this. The client had no idea, by the way. I did actually throw this image in with the rest of the images and had absolutely no idea. Couldn't tell them apart, because again, we are photographers, we pixel peep, we are looking for those tiny little pixel differences, but our clients are not. okay? So keep that in mind. They just want to see the final photograph. And like in this case, she was absolutely stoked with the images, and like I said, this image was thrown in there and she had no idea. So I did want to share that with you today, because if you are someone that maybe you've got a camera but you think that you need something really more expensive to start working, or you can only afford a really cheap camera. If all you can afford is a 450D with an 18 to 55 kit lens, if all you have is $100, then you can produce this, because that's the image that came out of that camera. So hopefully this has been useful, and hopefully it's encouraged you to just get started with whatever you have. So I really hope that I was able to prove to you that even when you're using really old consumer grade gear, you can still produce commercial work that clients will be happy to pay you for. And just to make it clear, I'm not suggesting that you go out and get this specific camera. Just get whatever you can afford and use it to learn the basics of photography, composition, lighting, directing, all the things that go into making a great image. But if all you have is something like this, then just use this. And don't forget that buying a camera is not the only option. You can also rent cameras. I rent a lot of gear that I could buy, but why would I spend money on something that's just not going to get used that often? So there's this really brilliant commercial photographer by the name of Eric Almas. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up, because he does amazing work. And I heard him once say that there's liberation in limitations. And I love that quote, because it reminds me that the limits that are set by our own ability, our gear, our clients, our circumstances, all of those limitations push us to our limits and then forces us to create the very best work that we can do within those limits. And when you push yourself to your limits, you get better. Anyway, I hope you found this information useful, but if you have any questions or comments, please do leave them in the comment section below. And if you'd like to support me and the channel, please don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this one. So that's everything for me today. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.